Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a really interesting, maybe slightly confusing bit of tech. It's the refurbished late 2020 Apple MacBook Air, the one with the M1 chip.
Ah, the M1 Air.
Well,
Still relevant.
Exactly. Specifically, though, we're looking at the 8 gig RAM, 128 gig SSD model. It's listed for about $380 by a seller called Chrome Source on Amazon.
Right, $379.95, I think. That price point definitely catches the eye.
It does. So our mission today is basically to figure out, cut through the noise. Is this super cheap Apple laptop a brilliant deal, or is it just going to be frustrating?
Yeah, a bargain or a burden. It really does seem like a product of contrast.
Okay, so contrasts. Let's start with the good side then. What makes this M1 Air, even the late 2020 model, still kind of shine for like $380?
Look, the M1 chip itself, it really reset things for thin and lights back then. And honestly, even now, its performance for everyday tasks is still kind of amazing for this price bracket.
Right.
And you get that fantastic Apple build quality. The Retina display is great. Keyboard, trackpad. Yeah. They're still best in class, really.
So for basic stuff like writing, web browsing.
Yeah, exactly. For a student just doing papers or someone doing light office work, maybe email and browsing, it feels incredibly snappy.
Yeah.
Way better than you'd expect for under $400.
Okay, that M1 performance sounds like a huge plus, but there's always a but, isn't there? Especially at this price. That 128 gigabyte SSD, that feels small. Is that the main drawback here?
Oh, absolutely. That's the big one.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at what people generally say, 128 gigs is, well, it's just not enough for most people long term.
How much space do you actually get, though, after the operating system and, essential apps?
You're probably looking at less than 90 gigs usable. Maybe even a bit less, depending on the Mac OS version.
Wow, less than 90, okay.
Yeah. So it raises that question for you, the potential buyer. Are you really prepared to constantly be managing storage, like actively deleting things just to get an OS update installed?
That sounds stressful. I guess you could use cloud storage, external drives.
You could, but then you're adding complexity, right? Maybe extra cost for cloud storage. Definitely the hassle of plugging in drives. It kind of takes away from that seamless portable laptop experience Apple's known for. It becomes a constant workaround.
Gotcha. Okay, what about the 8 gigs of RAM? Does that hold back the M1 much?
For basic stuff, it's surprisingly okay. The M1's unified memory is pretty efficient, so web browsing, documents, even some light photo editing, it handles it quite well.
But not for heavier tasks.
Definitely not. If you're thinking about, say, 4K video editing in Premiere or serious graphic design with lots of apps open, 8 gigs becomes a real bottleneck.
Like slowdowns.
Yeah, slowdowns, the spinning beach ball, maybe even crashes.
Yeah.
Most pros would say 16 gigs is really the minimum you want for serious creative work these days.
Right. Okay, so specs aside for a moment. Let's talk refurbished. This isn't new from Apple. It's from a third-party seller on Amazon. What does that actually mean for the buyer?
Well, it means you're stepping into what I'd call a bit of a trust paradox. You do get Amazon's renewed guarantee, which is 90 days. That's your safety net.
Okay, 90 days. That's something.
It is. But the actual quality of the refurbishment, that lands squarely on the third-party seller, in this case, Chrome Source. And we actually, we looked into them a bit, found a pretty detailed negative review for a similar Mac they sold.
Oh, what did it say?
The buyer reported getting a machine that was dirty, wasn't packaged well, and actually had issues. Didn't work right.
Yikes.
And get this, the battery cycle count was reported at 749, which is pretty high. Suggests a lot of previous use, much higher than you'd hope for.
So basically, when you get the box, you have to be the quality control inspector yourself.
Exactly. That initial unboxing isn't just exciting, it's critical. You need to check everything immediately, be ready to send it back if it's not right.
Okay, so given the tight storage, the RAM limits for heavy use, and the potential refurbished lottery, who is this $380 M1 Air actually for?
Look, it can be excellent value if, and it's a big if, you are a genuinely light user.
Define light user in this context.
Someone like a student mainly writing essays, maybe doing online research, or just a casual home user, someone who lives mostly in the cloud, Google Docs, webmail, streaming video, that sort of thing.
And who should definitely avoid it.
Anyone thinking about content creation video, serious photo editing, music production, power users who multitask heavily, and definitely anyone who likes to keep a lot of their files stored locally on the machine itself. It's just not built for that.
So final thoughts then. Is this the best value, or is it really just the absolute lowest price you can get for an M1 Mac? Because those aren't always the same thing.
That really is the key question, isn't it? You have to remember, this model came out in late 2020. So best guess is it'll get its last major macOS feature update around 2027. Security updates probably run until about 2029.
So it's got some life left, but it's getting on a bit.
Right. And while $380 is tempting, a huge discount, if you spend maybe another $100, $120, you could likely find a refurbished M1 Air with the 256 gig SSD.
Ah, solving the biggest problem.
Exactly. It eliminates that single biggest flaw. And honestly, that extra bit of money probably buys you significantly better long-term value and just a much less frustrating day-to-day experience.
Okay, so this deep dive really shows that paradox, doesn't it? You get that amazing M1 speed for cheap, but it's shadowed by that tiny storage and the whole gamble on the third-party refurbishment. So the provocative thought for you listening is this. Is saving that initial cash upfront truly worth the potential daily annoyance of managing storage, maybe needing external drives, and doing that careful inspection dance when it arrives, especially for a machine heading towards the end of its update lifespan? Or does spending just a little bit more for double the storage represent the smarter, better value buy in the long run? Something to think about.